Welcome to the G-Spot.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's G-Spot. For G32, that means we've had 32 episodes of this so far, and there's probably going to be more. Joining me on the G-Spot is Ray. How are you, Ray? Oh, fuck you now. Okay. Okay. Someone put subtitles on for that. Right, Ray, would you like to explain what the G-Spot is all about?
No, it's G-Spot is where we look at the wonderful, funny things that happen. we are gonna get banned. Oh, my ears.
Right, so what was you saying?
It's where we look at the wonderful and weird things that happen within the race, funny, some incidents, and it's all some educational things as well. So, and it's named after one of our drivers.
Yep. So just to translate that for everybody. No. I mean, sometimes we'll see things that are on the race footage and we, as commentators, may be like, oh, what happened there? And we might want to have a look at stuff like we didn't know how Jason ended up so far back last week and different things like that. It doesn't mean that everything you may see on the race footage we look at. If people report things, then we will show it on the G-Spot and with the stewards' information and decisions that they've made, or if people want clarifications of things, we may be able to show them. And yeah, as Ray said, funny stuff, weird stuff, and all that. And if people want to let us know about amazing stuff that's happened, or want us to have a look at stuff, then they can always let us know. And obviously one of the things that we tried to look at last week went horribly wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. You'll remember when we when we get onto it. So we're going to crack on straight away with this first one. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. G1 side by side with my friends, part 3-A to Z 19.1557. So this is touching back on that conversation of technically okay, but maybe a bit dickish. So this is the not going for the apex, but leaving space all the way around the corner. So we've actually got a bit more footage this time, hopefully. Anyway, so if two cars are already side by side, technically the car on the inside could opt for a wider line while leaving a car's width. On that occasion there, though, that was not a car's width all the way through the corner. Now let's see it at a slightly higher speed. This, that would be wrong. Car out of control. There wouldn't fairly be leaving space there. So we've got another clip here. This may be another one of showing it wrong. So even though they're already side by side, there's been a bit of contact, but also the orange car has not left the car's width for the other car all the way around the corner. Lock up on the way in, understeer, gone deep. Yeah, you fucked that corner up. So it is a situation there. Are we going to look at something else now? I've not left another clip in. I have. I've left bits in. What? Okay, so what are we going to have a look at here then? Nothing. All right, okay. I didn't really. I left an extra bit in. Fuck off. So.
Is this more?
No.
Is this the next one?
No, you need to have stopped the video before that next bit. We're coming on to that in a moment. Yeah. There's a couple of things that I want to just point out again. and it is a conversation that I think us admins will have. But there's a couple of things that I want to just clarify. Number one being the situation that I was talking about there, where technically a driver could keep the wider line while leaving space. The only time that would be technically okay is if they were already side by side before a braking zone. I don't think there's any way you could come in late and go for that line and it be seen as okay. The only way I think you could possibly technically be okay is if you were already side by side. Any other circumstances, it's not okay. Any understeer, oversteer, lockups, anything like that car on the inside does, turns it from technically okay to no, you fucked that up now. But obviously one of the things that led us on to trying to talk about a bit about last week, Ray, was that in that situation, the car on the outside, there's going to be points where they would have expected the other guy to have turned in, isn't there? Like they would have expected them to turn in to make the apex.
Yes.
Yeah. And even if they hadn't turned in yet to make the apex, they would then perhaps expect them to do it a little after that, but still turn towards the corner. And in this example, they wouldn't have done that. And so there is the possibility then that the car on the outside may begin turning in, thinking, well, the other guy should have turned in by now, or would have expected that car to turn in. And there would potentially become a point where, as a steward, you could perhaps look at it and go, well, they're now beyond a point of expectation where if you're that car on the outside, you 100% would have expected that car on your inside to have turned in by now.
Yep. About 20 metres before the apex.
Yep. Now, I do want to just bring this on to... well, actually, no. Have you got any other thoughts or comments or disagreements or anything that you want to bring up about all that?
It's just if you're in the inside and you have the apex available, unless there's like understeer or whatever, then I'm kind of more of a mindset of you should be making that apex, but then I also get the point of you can just leave a card with on the outside as well. So yeah, I think I'm more concerned of people just trying to leave it to the last minute and then something goes up.
Yeah.
And then it adds to...
It's unnecessary drama then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's stuff that could have been avoided.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think I touched on it last week a wee bit as well.
Yeah.
About that kind of waiting and then turning. But as the rule states, a car would, but
it doesn't mean that wouldn't be classed as unsporting. I mean, that's the. It's not. I mean, it is something I would do in random races with us lot. No problem doing it to people in random races. In a league race, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't like it done to me. However, what I will say, I want to get ready for that next video clip. I do just want to bring in perhaps another perspective on it, which very different situation, but also quite similar. So if you let me know when you're ready.
Yep, ready.
Okay. So in 3, 2, 1, let's go. So we're having a look at Spa here. We've got a car going straight along, and now we've got a picture. Okay, so the yellow line horizontal, that's the car's width. There's yellow line on the left. That's what would be an expected line for a car in this position. And the yellow line on the right is, if there was a car to the right here, that would perhaps be an expected line of a car on the right could take. This, though, is if this car decided to go straight, well, the car on the right wouldn't be able to take that yellow line, would they? They'd have to keep going on that red line. However, they may have expected this orange car to take the yellow line, not the red line, which means these blue lines may occur, which is where the car on the right may think, well, I would have expected him to have moved over by now, and he hasn't. So next blue, oh, has he moved over? No, he hasn't. And so it goes on. Now, very different situation, but very similar. But I think this actually does. I think it's a good example as well, though, of sort of expectation. I mean, this is different. I will say it is very, very different. Holding a tight line like that, I have no issue with. On the exit of a corner, holding someone to a tight line like that down a straight, I have no problem with it whatsoever. I mean, I did it to you at Nürburgring, nearly up against the wall. But it's in that kind of situation where kind of the etiquette for that one is, if you're going to hold someone to the edge of the line, when it comes to the end of the straight, you probably should be moving across a bit to open the corner up for yourself. But yeah, technically at the next corner, in Spa on this occasion turn 1, as long as you left the car's width on the inside, that would technically be okay. But that is one of those situations where a car in the position that we've just seen can go straight if they want, but what they would have to expect is the car on the right may not realise that's what they're doing and may attempt to take the expected line across the road, and then contact may occur.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a rather nice example.
Yeah, I think it was a very nice example. Thank you. It was kind of flashback moment as well.
Yes. But I mean, it is similar, but it is very different, isn't it? Because it's different doing it on the exit of a corner down a straight compared to doing it in the braking zone into a corner. So yeah, it is different. But anyway, finally on that, what did the left leg say to the right leg?
What did the left leg say to the right leg?
Yep.
Are you alright?
Don't talk to the middle leg. He's a dick.
Next.
What joke? Okay, no. Give me 1 second. So yeah, anything else to add on any of that?
No. I know just
Yeah, no. It's all right.
what we're getting at, and
Yeah, it's fair. Okay.
You've just thrown me off with that.
I know.
Whole line expectation.
Well, I've got a question for you now. Did you know, this is actually interesting information because you've got twins on the way, right? Did you know that a single sperm has 375 megabytes of information? Therefore, a single ejaculation with an average duration of 4.57 seconds represents a data transfer of about 1,587 terabytes.
Terabytes?
Yeah, terabytes.
Oh,
Now,
you went from megabytes to terabytes. I was like, what?
yeah, because it's a lot. Well, it's a lot of information to swallow. Thank you. Okay, should we move on to the next one? I don't know what we got, but let's have a look in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. G2, Bob, box, Bob, Bob. Okay, so this is from this week's race footage where we did see Bob, who we can see here now, Almighty Nash, spinning in the pit entry. So we didn't really get to see a good look at what happened. So yeah, there we go into the barrier. Let's have another look at it, and we're gonna have a look. Oh, actually. Hello, darkness, my old friend. So we're looking at him. So it looks like Bob was sort of undecided there about what Dave may or may not be doing. We're going to have a look at it from Dave's view here.
Dave's off the track. He should.
So we'll have a look from Mr. Nugard. Jimmy did actually give Bob a little bit of a bull draft at one point, but yeah, nothing really involved. Hay wasn't really involved. We don't really get to see anything. We may hear it. But this is an interesting view here from Rich Blues. So we'll see Jimmy just gives Bob a little nudge there. And Rich also goes for a late move for the pits and spinning. Now, we're going to have another look. Oh, actually.
He got reset.
He got reset. Thankfully for him, though, it didn't keep him on lap 6. It didn't not put him a lap down, which we've seen before. Okay, we're going to have a look at this in slow motion. Want to point out 2 things. Dave the Harp, he's fine. He can enter the pits any way he wants. Bob, in this position, really should slow down because Dave is on the pit entry side. So if Bob wants the pits, really, he should slow down. He was undecided whether Dave was going pits or not, but he's then gone to try and make the pits. And again, I mean, Dave isn't in a situation where he has to leave any space there. And Bob tags the wall. And Rich, I don't know what he tags. Maybe he's just got an affection for ghosts. I don't know. But yeah, so there you go with that one. Go on.
Dave the Harp's already
over there.
Over there, then.
Yeah. Bob should have been thinking, yeah, he's pitting.
Yeah, so what? Oh, let me just go back a wee second. Just a wee second before I say. Because they're side by side for so long, so if there was a space there, I would have fucking went side by side in the pits.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be giving up.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't be giving up either. What I was just pointing out was that Dave hasn't done no wrong there. That was all. And I actually think Bob has hit an invisible bit of the wall.
Yeah. No, just the way you worded it, I thought you meant that Bob should have been given the place to Dave the Harp in the pit lane.
Well, no. Well, if anybody should have been backing out of that and slotting in that situation, it should have been Bob. That's what I was saying. Because hang on. Because Dave the Harp is on the left, right? This is before they go off the track. Because Dave the Harp is on the left at pit entry side, anyone on the right of Dave that wants the pits should be entering the pits in a safe way, so should be slowing down and tucking in behind, technically.
Yeah, Dave's that far off the track that I think there is. But I also want to just state that this won't be able to happen in GT7. You will get a penalty because you can't go side by side in a pit lane because it's not big enough.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's Bob's taken a risk and it hasn't worked. So yeah. Rich took a risk and it didn't work for him either.
He was so late. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Okay. My wife keeps asking me to blow cool air on her when she's hot.
You don't have a wife.
But I don't like it. I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of your wife?
I'm not a fan of blowing cold air on people. I'm not a fan. Should we move on to the next one? Actually,
Yeah, I think I saved the soundboard. It doesn't want to work anymore.
right. This one. Before we go onto this, actually no. I shall introduce it, then we'll stop before we watch it, and you can read a message we have. So, let's get ready in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Gee whiz, what's the penalty for going over the white line? So, Ray, I do believe we've received a message.
Yes, we have. Can I report the invincible bump at turn 4?
Is it invincible or is it invisible? Because they're two very different things. One of them cannot be destroyed, and the other one cannot be seen.
Invisible?
Invisible. Okay, so can I report the invisible bump? No, you fucking can't. Fuck off. I think would be the technical answer. But this is actually a very fascinating situation. So let's get ready to view the footage. Yep. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. So it's a message from Art Pal. We're looking at Art Pal battling with Bob and Twilight, and goes around the corner, and we see him spinning, and spinning some more, and collects it. So now we're going to have a look from this view and wait for Ray's reaction in 3, 2, 1.
What the
Exactly, what the fuck? Okay, so we're going to have a look at it from a couple of different views. Okay. Now we're going to have a look. Good question. I have one theory, which is I think the car's potentially bottomed out on the sharp bit of the edge of the curb, just there, or just before that, and it's bounced the car up and sideways. But that last...
Wheels hit the curb edge.
Yeah, well, I think the car's bottomed out on the curb, popped it up sideways, then the wheel, the inside of the right-hand wheel, has hit the edge of the curb, which has then spun him around. That's what I think. That's what I think I'm seeing. I could be wrong. I can't say I ever drove over that. It could be one of those 1 in a 1,000 car just in that perfect position for that to happen. Before we get Ray's opinion, we'll see what the steward said about it. So the steward's view, in answer to the question, can I report an invisible bump? No, because it's invisible. How do you know the bump even exists? But because we have got the footage, it is clear to see that Art Pal just turns in on the curb with no regard for the invisible bump. It is also clear to see that the curb should have been more aware and seen Art Pal was there and done more to avoid an incident. The steward's verdict then is, although Art Pal turns in, the curb caused the spin. Therefore, a 3-point penalty would be applied to the curb. However, the curb waited for Art Pal, so the penalty is void. No further action to be taken. Well, let's see what them two Muppets say about it then.
Yeah. Just try have a look again.
It's proper. Well, I know what it reminds me of, but...
Whoa. He wasn't even hard on the throttle either.
No, or the brakes, or anything like that. Now, one of the things it initially reminded me of was on some of the older F1 games, people used to moan like buggery about buggy curbs that would spin a car. And I always looked at it as, well, if you're running ride height of 1-1, which most people were, and we're trying to go over some bumpy curbs, chances are it might spin if you hit it in the right way. Raise your ride height, you don't spin. But people always, they went on about it for fucking years. Now, as I said, it may be a case that with this car, it has bottomed out on that curb there. But it's an odd one. I don't think I've seen any car do that there yet. but I can't say I've ever taken a really low car, like I've gone and lowered a car and driven it over there on purpose to try it. So it could just be a 1 in a billion chance of bottomed out a bit on the curb, popped up a little bit sideways, and that tyre hits the edge of the curb and sends it around. Or it could be something completely different. I don't know.
I'm trying to look through the line, and I've took all different lines through there, and I've never had that pop up.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'm confused at why.
Yeah. But in answer to Art Pal's question, no, you can't fucking report a curb, an invisible bump. But I can understand why he's brought that forward. Because yeah, that is definitely a what the fuck, and I can honestly understand as well why at the time he thought he'd been hit. Yeah. But, I mean, the car behind him's Twilight. Twilight wasn't lagging, didn't have any lag at any point. I mean, if there had been a car near him that had shown at any point some signs of lag, like maybe Gary, Jason, then you could perhaps go, well, maybe we haven't seen it, but maybe there was a lag and he's been hit from behind. But I don't think that's the situation here. I just think he's got massively unlucky.
Unless it's compression from the back right tyre hitting that lip of the curb and hitting just made the car a wee bit light. But even the throttle input he had, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was enough for him to spin as well. No, absolutely. Fucking weird one.
Yeah.
Cheers, Art Pal. You always come with the weird ones.
Okay, yeah. Right, that's it for this week's G-Spot. If anybody wants anything else covering, you know what to do. Send it to Paige. And yeah. Fucking hell. It's 27 minutes, Ray. We're done. There isn't anything else we need to do. Is there?
It's the quickest G-Spot.
Well, no comment. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else that we need to cover. I think we've covered everything. Yeah.
Yep. Was it? It wasn't a busy G-Spot, was it?
No, not really. I'm just. Yeah. Okay.
You're trying to think of a joke.
No, I'm not. No. I was thinking I'm hungry, and I was thinking about food, but then I remembered that my friend Joe recently went on the Dolly Parton diet. It really made Jolene. Thank you very much. I'm here all week.
It's fucking shite.
Yep. Right. Thank you for joining us, Ray.
No worries at all. Thank you for having me. Well, I don't know if it's a pleasure.
Well, no, that's true. It's more of a pleasure once you get off the headset and go and have a drink. Right. You know what to do, folks. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Check out the race footage. It's always packed full of action. And we'll see if we have a G-Spot next week, because it's not guaranteed that we're going to have one every week.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. See you later.
We'll see you later, guys. Take care.
I did the same thing.
What?
I did the same thing at the same time. Right. Bye.